is going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another episode of our weekly podcast. We are batting practice. We got a great one for you tonight. As always, we always got a great one for you. We're talking a little bit Milwaukee sports. Shock. There's always something to talk about with Milwaukee sports. We're going to look a little bit
They're hot
at
right
some.
now.
They are. We're going to look a little bit at some Sorare MLB lineups, maybe. And then a very popular segment makes its much awaited awaited return at the end of tonight's episode. So stick around for that because it's a good one. Before we jump into all that madness, boys, how are we feeling this fine Monday evening?
You
$1
know,
million bucks.
So when you introduced us in the podcast, you said we have a good episode for you tonight. But like as a listener, you could be listening during the day or the afternoon. So I'm a little bit confused right now. That's how I
true.
feel.
It's true.
Yeah.
We got a good episode for you, period.
Hey-oh.
Bang.
Whenever
Drop
you're
the
watching.
mic. Should I drop it?
Oh, that would be
Should we
headphone
Everyone would
listeners?
stop listening.
Exactly.
We could do a 24-hour stream. That way we cover every minute of the day that you could possibly be listening to us.
Yeah.
And if you watch it back, you're listening in every minute of the day. So you're golden. You're good. You can get your batting practice at 8 a.m., at 9 a.m., at 20 or 8 o'clock. I don't when how do they say it like casually in Europe? Like if it's, what's 8 p.m.? Did they say, oh yeah, let's go by to the bar at 20 tonight? Like, is that how they do it? Or
That's
like
a good question.
I've only seen it written
You've
down.
been to Europe. You're the only one out of these three that have
That's
been to
true.
Europe.
That's
But
true.
I'm an American, so I make everything about me.
Yeah, you wouldn't adapt to the local culture. You would just implement your own.
Well,
That's
you
the
see, these
American
blokes
way.
were giving me the bother on the tube the other day, and
Oh man, that
Blokes.
was good. That was good. That was
It's hard
really
to
good.
take it seriously in a Wisconsin accent.
yeah,
Oh, these blokes.
it's not
The
Canadian.
Midwest meets England.
Well, Jacob, so do people ever give you what is your accent or tell you that you have an accent?
No, but once if people ask where I'm from and I say, then they'll be like, "Oh, I can hear it."
Sure.
Does that make
That
sense?
makes
Yeah,
that
that
makes
does.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not really I'm gonna point you out or pick you out in a crowd. But if you introduce yourself, then you'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I see it now." It's not like a New York accent where immediately you're like, "Oh, that person's from Staten Island," because I'm not even gonna try to intimidate a New York accent. But yeah, it's not terrible. I've never had a bad experience with it. Everyone's from Milwaukee, yes, including our sports right now. Before we get into our sports, all right, I got two things. One of them isn't Milwaukee, but it's Wisconsin related, and the other one is a previous segment related. So we got two. So I'll save one for the end. Let's see. Yeah, I'll save this one for the end. I'll save that one for ride or fade. But for right now, Nash, if you could show to the camera what you're drinking right now, because I believe you mentioned what you had beforehand. He's sipping on a
Cheers.
nice little whiskey on the rocks. Very nice.
Ooh.
Well, I also
Ooh.
went with a beverage that can only be consumed by 21 plus. But it's much lighter. It's the first time I've seen it in stores down here this summer, or I guess this spring, whatever you want to call it.
Oh,
Summer
Wow.
Shandy
Oh,
from
man.
Liney's. So
There we
crack
go.
it open.
Oh man.
Josh and I had a tall boy of those.
Yeah,
golf
on
balls.
Saturday.
It was
Mhm.
great decision.
Wow.
Yeah. So we don't have that down here year round. I don't know if they have.
I don't think they do. That's a seasonal thing. I don't think
But
you
it's
can
the
find
first
it.
time I've seen it in the stores, at least looking out for it. And I was like, yeah.
Okay.
Because we had originally gotten another 6-pack of beer, and then I saw that and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get 6 of these.
Oh yeah.
That's so funny because Andrew and I were literally talking about this on Saturday
Yes.
while drinking our summer shandies.
Mhm.
We were just talking about like
Also look at my burn.
yeah,
Oh
right.
my
Andrew is
God.
fried. Mine,
Oh my God.
This is why you have to watch us
you
with the
got
video
you
on.
got more burnt, I think, than me.
It's the light. It's the lighting
It's
too.
the
It's the
lighting, sure, sure. But we were talking about like how we were questioning whether Lightning Kugels was available like down
Mm.
south, basically. And then we were trying to figure out the Chicago brewery equivalent of Lightning Kugels. So it's funny that you literally found it this week.
I think it's going big now that they got the Miller connection. So
Yeah.
if you're listening to us, chances are you might have Liney's in a store near you. Go and try it, especially in the summer. Summer
Yeah,
Yes.
Shandy's a great
sponsorship.
pick.
That would
Sponsorship
be
when
amazing.
Whoa, there we
batting
go.
practice. Yes,
Hell
you
Then we
yeah.
can
have to
buy
read a
these.
warning.
You can buy these at most Milwaukee sports games, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You know
you
what you
won't be
can't
able to
buy?
buy these at Bucks games much longer, will you?
Mm.
Oh man.
Or how we
Uh,
feeling? How we feeling?
I'm not
We're
nervous.
down
I'm
2
not
1.
nervous.
Dame is out. Giannis is out.
Well, if they play,
Is
if
there
they
they're
play.
anything?
down they're down 3-1
Is there
actually.
anything the Bucks could do? Yeah, sorry, 3-1. That's what I meant. Um,
Have their stars
Um
play.
yeah.
yeah, I would say if you told me right now that Giannis, not even don't give me Dame, give me just Giannis, game 5, I think it goes to 7. I can't tell you if we'd win, but just getting Giannis back, I think it we'd get it to 7 games.
Okay. Okay. You think
Give us
Giannis can give you a 3 war in 3 games?
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Bring war to
Using
basketball,
using
please.
baseball stats. Yeah.
Dude, but in I'll tell you what, I think we need to just jump right in. I think it's I can't I don't mad is not the right word. Like I can't even be mad. It's more so like frustrated because the NBA season is long. The baseball season is long, but the NBA season is also long. And the the regular season doesn't necessarily count for a whole lot. And it doesn't seem like people really care a lot about what's going on in the regular season because everybody's looking forward to the playoffs. So while the playoffs are here and the Bucks go into the playoffs, high hopes. Giannis gets hurt in the second to last game of the season.
Yep.
So then your hopes are instantly diminished. And then on top of that, Dame also gets hurt and they're without their 2 best players. And that just like it sucks. You wait the whole regular season, you wait months and months and months, especially to see Dame and Giannis play. And we're deprived of that and we're gonna lose the series because of it. So it's just I don't know. It's very upsetting, I guess.
So are they for sure ruled out for game 5?
They are
I think
doubtful, both
doubtful.
doubtful, which is not good terminology.
No, but
Right.
this is the one where if you aren't fully 100%, you say to yourself, I'm still lacing up my shoes. Let's put me out there. I
Okay,
don't care if it's
see,
pain.
this is a good debate too to have. Are you in the boat where this is do or die? Your season's over if you lose, you have to give it a go, even if you're not fully healthy? Or are you down 3-1? You don't really have a chance to come back. You just rest you don't risk further injury and go at it next year.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I think it depends if you as an injured player are good enough or are better than your average teammate. Also,
Yeah,
Jacob, I
okay.
think your place is
Pause,
haunted.
pause. We just had a haunting live on camera.
It's got to be a four-legged friend.
Removing the camera for this.
Yes. Yep.
It's not
Uh,
mine.
big old Gilbert.
There he is.
That was awesome. That was terrifying at first, though.
And there he goes. He just wanted to see what was going on in here. He was
That's
like, all right,
funny.
I'm satisfied. Nothing I need to be concerned about with. Well, that was fun.
Wow. Edwin Diaz just gave up a 2-run home run. I don't. Why are they having him in? That
Dude,
doesn't make any
okay.
sense.
So we're not done with the
Yeah,
Bucks
this is a side. This is
just
an
yet.
aside.
Yeah. But
Wild.
yeah. Well, I guess I agree with you, Nash. Frustrated, confused even
Yeah.
because we go back to the middle of the season. They fired Griffin, or yeah, within what was it? 40 games, half the season, less than that, and they hired Doc Rivers, and it was just kind of everyone was a bit confused about it. And to this day, I'm still confused about it because it hasn't really proven anything much different than what was happening beforehand. And they're in the same playoff scenario probably that they would have been with Griffin. There must have been something else going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. So I don't really know.
Yeah. I think Doc Rivers has a very easy out. You can blame the injuries, obviously. I think the
Right.
Bucks win this series very handedly if they are fully healthy.
Do you?
Um,
Because they
yes,
got destroyed by the Pacers this year.
not even worried about it.
Absolutely handled by the
In the
Pacers.
regular season.
I think the Bucks win in 5 games or less with a fully healthy team. Because to be honest, the Bucks are not losing by a ton without their main players playing. And the Pacers are pretty much healthy at this point. So um but it's kind of an easy out for Doc Rivers, who has an awful playoff record. This would look a heck of a lot worse if he didn't have the injuries to blame, but it still looks pretty bad on his part that, he's notorious for not doing well in the playoffs. And this year's looking to be no different.
I agree.
I think if Giannis returns, I agree with Josh. I think they take it to game 7. If Dame is back for a potential game 7, who knows? But yeah, I think if injuries were not a concern, then I think the Bucks do win this series. Obviously, reality is teams play 82 games and they pick up injuries along the way. And unfortunately for the Bucks, they're going into the playoffs unhealthy instead of in a healthy position. Maybe that is injury management or, load management, whatever you want to say. Did the Bucks go too hard again in the regular season? I don't know. They're a 3 seed this year, which kind of shows that they didn't take it as seriously as the year they won every game. But I don't know. I think there still is something to be said for the NBA regular season, and unfortunately, I I don't consider this season lost. I still have hope that come Tuesday we're gonna pull it off. We'll see. Um, I don't know. It's the Bucks.
It's the Bucks. Yeah. So I guess we can end that there because it's pretty much what else can you say about them right now? If they lose, they're out. And yeah, they're missing their stars. So can we really complain? I'd say yes, but not because they're losing. It's because they're losing in the way that they're losing, I guess. So
I'll end it
yes,
on
what's up?
this. I'll end it on this. The Bucks should hold on to Giannis, Dame, and Middleton. Beyond those 3, everybody can go.
Ooh,
Ooh,
hot
okay.
take.
Okay.
All right. I want to see some comments about that. Yeah.
At
But
least
Andrew,
everybody should be in contention to be traded. How about that?
traded. Okay. Interesting. Even Bobby?
Yes. Bobby's probably number 1 on that list.
Wow.
Whoa. The knives are out from
He's a
Josh
hater.
to Bobby.
Yep.
So, Andrew, you mentioned Edwin Diaz
Yes,
just
sir.
gave up a 2-run home run.
Yes.
So he has been my reliever in Sorare the entire year. And I finally just, which is funny, I actually got 2 Yankees relievers in back-to-back weeks for my Sorare team and my common team. And I got Clay Holmes.
Oh.
Yeah, so I am now using Clay Holmes instead. So yeah, our star of the show from last week, besides Glass now, and of course, who
Max
else was
Fried.
it? It's Fried, of course. Who we will be giving away tomorrow. I believe tomorrow's a week.
Woo!
No, Wednesday. Wednesday is when I tweeted it out. 2 more days. So this podcast will be up for a day. You'll have a day more to enter the Max Fried giveaway. It's a $15 limited card. Also, the week that we announced this, or the game week that we announced this, I believe
He had
he
a
put
great
up a
game
40
week.
spot. Yeah.
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 Player of the
He,
week?
he
Put
had
up a
a
40
complete
spot for
game
the-
shutout, I'm pretty sure.
Is he a Sorare player of the week?
He can be. I don't know his stats at the moment
Mm.
because
Well, if
I
you got
don't
someone else
own
in
one.
mind, then
That's the
course.
problem is I don't own one, so I can't see. Let's see. Max
Yeah, again,
Fried.
Sorare, get on that. I want to see the stats of all the guys.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So Max Fried he was playing the Marlins. So here we go. Player of the week, what is it? Number 5 already for Sorare MLB. We're going for
Is it
Max
6?
Fried. It might be 6.
Might
Yeah,
be
I think it
6.
is.
Player
I
of the
think
week
it's
here. I'll do
6.
both intros. So then when I edit it down, player of the week 5 for Sorare MLB. Player of the week 6 for Sorare MLB is it's our giveaway. It's Max Fried because he threw a complete game shutout. Innings pitched 9. That's right, 9 innings pitched for a total of 27 points. That's just for your innings pitched. So how about that? Add another 6 strikeouts for a total of 12 points. Only allowed 3 hits, and of course got that 5 points for the win. So we decided to give him away, and sure enough, that night that we recorded, he put up a 43 spot against the Marlins. The Braves won 5-0, and you couldn't really ask much more for a pitcher. Really. If you have him in a lineup that's putting up points, you're winning a reward for sure with a 43 spot from a pitcher. So shout out to Max Fried. And shout out to everyone that's entered our giveaway so far. I believe we have 17 total comments on the video.
Oh,
yeah.
Let's go.
Again, one more day by the time this podcast comes out to enter that giveaway. So Max Fried. I guess. So I was basing all this off of talking about Edwin Diaz, and it's because he gave up this 2-run home run against
the Cubbies,
a foe, an NL Central foe,
the enemy.
Yeah. Craig Counsell's Cubs have been probably the hottest team in baseball, if I can't lie. I don't think there is a hotter team than them. The Yankees have been putting up a bunch of runs against the Brewers recently.
They did.
But if we go over the records here, the Cubs they are now 19-11, I believe, which is the same record as the Yankees. And yeah, so only the Braves, I believe, have a better record than them. I could be totally wrong about that. At least in the NL.
That sounds
only the
right.
Braves have a better record than them. Brewers are up there, but they did lose the final 2 games against the Yankees of that series. So I guess my question for you guys is, as someone who's been watching a lot of the Brewers, but I've also tried to catch some of the Cubs, Cubs pitching is elite. The Cubs don't have the greatest of offenses on paper, but their pitching has been great. Shota Imanaga has been the best, unless you count Ohtani.
Right.
He's been the best signing this offseason, I want to say.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm not just talking about Japanese players. I'm talking about every single signing this offseason. He has a .98 ERA in 4 games. That's crazy. That's April, because I don't think he's pitching again in April. So an under 1 ERA in April. He's never once pitched in the big leagues before about a month ago. So how are the Brewers going to compete with this? Because they are right now. Didn't they win 2-3 against the Cubs to start the year a few weeks ago? Not to start the year, but or was it 2-4? Am I making that up?
The Brewers have not played the Cubs.
I was gonna say they haven't played the Cubs
you know
yet.
what? You're so right. I'm thinking of
the Pirates,
maybe.
of.
Pirates or the Twins?
I don't know.
Or the Cardinals. They swept the Cardinals.
Yes, that's what it was. They swept the Cardinals. Exactly. Yep.
Yes.
But no. So yeah. Okay. So they haven't played the Cubs yet. But anyways, it's a moot point because they will have to play the Cubs again, even if they have played the Cubs. And it's looking like, as if the season were to end today, these would be the top 2 teams, the Brewers and the Cubs.
In the
so
Central.
How about that? In the Central. These are Cardinals were predicted pretty much overall to be first. Was it
terrible take?
Cubs or Reds and Cubs were kind of switching off between second and third, and then Brewers and Pirates were 4th and 5th. Yet here we are, the Cubbies and the Brewers. The good old Illinois-Wisconsin rivalry is renewed, or I mean, it's back on fire. And so, what do you guys think? Is this what it's going to come down to? Are the Cubs going to choke? Are the Brewers going to choke? Or are we going to battle this out to the end?
Well, first off, I'll start with this: the Brewers and Cubs play this weekend.
I'm going
Friday through Sunday.
I'm going.
So that'll be a good indication as to what this season might look like.
Are you gonna boo
I'll,
council?
Of
ooh,
course.
you better. I'll hit you with some stats to start off this
Ooh,
conversation.
at me.
According to Fangraphs.com, currently in the NL Central, the Cubs have the best percent to win the division at 39%. In second place in that category is your Milwaukee Brewers at 28%. So they're making up almost 60% of the projected division winner. So Fangraphs believes that it's going to be one of those two. It seems like it's maybe a little too early to throw out projections like that. There's a heck of a lot of season left. A lot of things can happen. Um, right now, as much as it pains me to say this, I think the Cubs are better set up for long-term success compared to the Brewers. I think the Brewers are overplaying their projections right now. I think the Cubs are also overplaying their projections, but I think the Cubs on paper have a slightly better lineup and a much better pitching staff, which down the stretch is very important. I think another thing to consider is the Brewers don't ever make a big move at the deadline, whereas the Cubs have a lot of money to do so. So I think if any team's going to make a big move, it would be the Cubs and not the Brewers, which probably gives them the edge heading into the fall and postseason eventually.
So let me read you the Brewers starting rotation from the beginning of the year. Freddie Peralta, ace, still great. DL Hall, our number 2, hurt, 15-day
Hurt.
IL.
And bad.
Yeah,
60.
yeah. My purchase
Yeah.
not looking good on that one. Maybe I'll have to give him away so he does really good. I'll give him
Yeah.
away so he
There
does
you
really
go.
well.
There you go.
Colin Ray, Jacob Junis, hurt. Joe Ross, hurt. The Brewers have so many pitchers, and adding to this list, Wade Miley, hurt.
Out for the season.
We have Brandon Woodruff, hurt.
Out
Devin
for the season.
Williams, hurt.
Out until the end of July.
So just the amount of players that the Brewers and not to mention Christian Yelich has been hurt for most of the month of April, and the Brewers are doing all of this with I don't know, players that are getting thrust into roles that so many people making MLB debuts, so many rookies, such a young roster. I think that's what the Brewers have going for them, is that they're so young. I feel like they're kind of like the Green Bay Packers from this past year, where they just have a very young,
How about that?
unproven team. And I think the Cubs, to Josh's point, probably do have more of that star power. But at the same time, I feel like I know everyone on the Cubs and like what they're capable of. So yes, they're good, but who knows what the ceiling on a Bryce Terang really is, or Jackson Churio, or whoever you want to, whatever young Brewer player you want to throw in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I saw a stat the other day that the Brewers are on pace to use the second or third most pitchers ever in a season.
Oh my God.
Which is not a list you want to be at the top of. I think the most recent other team was like the 2021 or 2022 A's, who lost 106 games or something like that. The other team was like the 1903 Chicago Red Red Leggings.
They probably had people from the street pitching on that team.
They probably did.
Yeah,
They probably found some plumbers off the street, let's be honest.
literally,
But
literally.
not a list you want to be a part of. And the Brewers have already used a lot of pitchers, a lot of players, for that matter, which is not a good sign and is not sustainable long term.
No.
It's a long
Yeah.
season. We're only 30
about that?
games into a very long season.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, but we started this episode talking about the Bucks, who coming into the final stretch, the most important in the season, are dealing with all of these injured problems. The Brewers getting it out of the way. Maybe they're doing it right.
Right.
Maybe we're gonna cruise into September with a fully healthy roster. Everyone's back. Who knows?
Brandon
But
Woodruff would like a word.
yeah. But Josh, to your point, I think if the Brewers are in contention, I think they do make a mid-season move. I would
Mm.
be surprised if the Brewers are in the same record or the same gap where they're with the Cubs right now. I think we do sign someone and probably a pitcher.
All right, I
Yeah.
just counted. The
Right.
Brewers, I'm including positional players pitching because they are
Ah.
listed in the pitching stats. They've used 22 pitchers already this year, with one,
That's
two,
crazy.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, with 9 of those being starters. So they've used 9 different starting pitchers and 22
In-
total pitchers in 30
April.
games. 30 games. That's almost a new pitcher every game.
How about that? Might be
Not
tilt
which,
worthy.
not again, just not the right lists you want to be on for
Right.
records.
Right. Well, as you mentioned, Andrew, we're 30 days into the MLB season, which
Yeah.
also means we're 30 days into the MLB So Rare season,
Woo!
and we've yet to look at any lineups really.
Ooh.
We kind of looked at mine when I placed high. We kind of looked at Andrews when he placed high. Nosh, you're gonna place high. We know it. You won last year. You're coming back.
Well, you got a top
So
10. Nash
yeah,
got a top
Yeah.
10.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We didn't look at your lineup though.
that's true. We
Ooh.
could if you want
We
to.
really didn't showcase it. But today, instead of looking at our lineups, we're going to look at your lineups. Well, if you won, we're going to look up top lineups and see just kind of what players everyone is going for in their top squad and see how many of these, I would say, marquee tier 1 players you need in a squad versus budget buying and maybe getting a little bit lucky. So, Nash, I would say you want to go ahead and share your
Especially
screen.
full
Absolutely.
team stacks,
Pull
too.
up. I would say so. In order to get the best results, should we do limited all star, limited pro? I would say either one of those two. I don't know about champion.
And it's obviously going to be different every week because the other thing there's a debate I've seen on Twitter this week around whether we should be using all team stacks or try to mix and match players from different teams. Obviously, we just covered the Brewers. The Yankees absolutely hung them up for, what was it, 30 runs, probably more than that over the 3 games.
It was 30 in the last 2 games.
Yeah, 30 in the
I
last
think
2, probably
35 total.
35 total runs. So, not surprising. I'm sure if we look at the leaderboard this week, it's going to be a lot of Yankee stacks. Granted, you can only play 6 of the 7 since you have to have one player who's on a different team. Although to be fun, you could have a Yankee that was traded somewhere else and still run a full stack, which would be pretty funny.
All right, so I pulled up limited champ first. So we good
Wow.
with
So
that?
the score, first
Yeah,
place,
what's the score?
scored
Yeah.
306.9.
How
From
many
That's a decent
Yankees?
amount.
Zins.
Oh
I bet
my
he had.
God.
I bet he had Aaron Judge. Let's guess.
I'm going to
Okay.
guess a lot of Yankees. Yep.
Yep. Andrew, you
No.
kind of nailed it. You kind of
no
nailed
Aaron
it.
Judge. But
Andrew,
Stanton.
Andrew, you were spot on. He had 5 Yankees. The
5 Yankees?
The Brewers just played into the So Rare God's hands right there. In that if you had any Yankees, it would have gotten you something. But honestly, this is a team that's going to cost you a lot. I would say Clay Holmes, as we already went over, is a $20 card. Rizzo might be cheaper, but Volpe is going to cost a lot. Rodon will probably be a solid first starter. What do you think
Stanton's probably
Stanton
the
costs?
cheapest person on this
Stanton
team.
might be cheaper, but I also don't think Stanton is the best So Rare player necessarily.
No. He also, I believe he didn't
Well,
start one of these games.
You just
I think
DH
this was
or
a pinch hit home run.
Huh.
I could be wrong. One of the games he definitely did
no,
not
because
start.
he had a single too.
Maybe he stayed in the game. I mean, they probably batted around multiple times.
Yeah.
He could have easily pinch hit and then
Right,
bat again, which is insane.
Not that it's important, but I wish it would say if he was like sub or something.
But I'd love to talk to this person because they have a mix of Yankees and then Red Sox.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
a
very-
Yankees and Red Sox lineup.
It's such an interesting stack
What?
because like that's like stacking Brewers and Cubs. Like, I get you want to win, but I don't know. Like it's funny that they stacked those two teams who have historically just disliked each other.
look at Tyler O'Neill and how his price. I wonder what he cost before the season started, because he just sold for $38 on a quick buy.
He's
I
got to be
sold a
one of the
rare.
more risky so rare cards. I mean, look at his
Yeah.
stats. He
You'd
was hurt
think
a
he'd be
little
a
bit.
budget buy, but he's not.
I mean, he's
He probably
home
was.
run, bust, home run, bust,
Yeah,
bust.
but he's putting up better home run or bust numbers than Stanton is.
True. I think he's leading the league in home runs, to be
Yeah,
fair.
it's him,
Yeah.
him and Michael
He was
Harris
hurt.
or
That couple
Marcell
of
Ozuna.
DNPs you saw,
And
it
Mike
wasn't
Trout, maybe?
because like he was getting platooned or something. It was because he was actually hurt. So
Yeah, he was hurt for a little bit. Yeah. But wow, interesting. Um, we also didn't talk about we talked about the Yankees beating up on the Brewers, but
Yeah,
the Red Sox did beat up on the Cubs too, putting up 17
did.
runs this game. So a lot of high scoring games this weekend, which definitely allots for a very large winning score. Interesting.
here you go.
Not really any, like you said, not really a ton of budget.
Quick,
Rodon, Holmes. Yeah.
try and find
Good.
like second or third or fourth. Try and
Yeah.
find a non-Yankees lineup.
Yeah,
Or
I
maybe
bet you-
just
I bet
you
maybe
there's a
Yankee
Sox
stacks were just okay. Here we go.
Here we go.
This is
Okay, this-
exactly what I'm looking
that's
for.
a tier
we
one
have
lineup.
we have Mookie, we have Jordan, but then we also have Jason Foley.
Ooh,
Scooble's going for a lot.
35. 35 is
How
a
about
relief
that
pitcher.
for a reliever? That's sick.
You know, we haven't talked about this on the pod, but it is something I have been thinking about when making lineups. What do you
Wow.
think? So I've been rocking this year a Burns Kimbrel combination. What do you
So
guys
you're
think
stacking
of
reliever and
you're
starter.
stacking the closer with the starter
Right.
especially on a weekend, because generally if your starter has a good game, probably they're going up against another good pitcher, the game would be close. If you get the win, you might be a save opportunity. I don't know, have you guys done that, or have you thought about doing something like that?
I mean, I would say that's it's a good way to try and win. It's a good way to try and get like first place. Because if you hit, you're going to hit good. You're going to get a win, you're going to get a save, you're going to get probably 6+ innings of work, which equates to 18 points just like that.
Yeah.
So the only problem would be is if your starter has a bad game, then your reliever's not going to play.
Right.
So
That game.
there's
They
that
can
too.
play the other two, but probably
But
not gonna have a good
in
series.
fantasy sports, you want those bets to hit, like quote unquote parlaying your starting
Yeah.
pitcher and closing pitcher. You want that
Yep.
to hit. So yeah.
Yeah, I think
I have nothing against that stack strategy.
yeah, I like that strategy. It's in line with the home run or bust strategy. If you want to win competitions or podium even, you kind of have to go all in certain areas, whether it be a home run hitter who's home run or bust, or stacking a reliever and a starter. Like you said, if the starter has a good game, odds are that reliever is getting in the game, potentially getting a save. But if your starter blows up, not only is he not scoring well, your closer or reliever is probably not pitching either.
Yep.
So it is kind of like it's another all-in kind of situation, which you kind of need in order to place high in these competitions. In other news, I will be buying a Jason Foley after we end this
Yep.
podcast
Yeah,
because
right.
he's the best closer in baseball. He's $10.
He is.
I paid more for Josh Hader, who sucks.
I sold
look at these
my Clay
scores.
Holmes for more.
I mean,
True.
incredible. His lowest game week was 16 as a
Wow,
relief
That's
pitcher.
amazing.
Wow.
That's better than any hitter out there. I'm saying it now.
Okay. Also,
The
guys, I
ceiling is
think
low though.
we were hating on the AL Central, except for the White Sox. Everyone is kind of doing all right.
Yeah, the Guardians are
Dude.
killing it.
Dude, we will be hearing about the Guardians later in this podcast.
Ooh,
Okay.
interesting. Jordan
Another
Hicks.
Yankee stack.
A
Stanton.
giant stack.
Verdugo, Rizzo.
Not really.
Oh,
Oh,
but look at that.
interesting.
There's a 3 giant stack.
But
Dude,
look at
closer.
that closer.
The relief
starter
pitcher is the
combo.
most important one in the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, another stack. That's awesome. There's
They-
something to it.
And obviously, we're looking with the bias
Yankees,
that these are
Yankees,
winning
Yankees,
lineups.
yeah. So let's go a week back, or if you want to go to rare and just peep rare real quick. Did you enter a rare champion?
I did
lineup?
not.
Oof.
Well, just you can unhide, I think. Or
Go
can you
to
see other-
rare. No, go to rare All Star and see what people are using, how many limited cards they were using, if they were using limited cards.
I
Yeah.
can just go here. I'm right here. Might as well click it.
Okay. Wait a second.
Wait, this guy
This
got
is still
second
on
Same
those.
place.
guy got top
got-
3?
He got second
wait.
or third in limited.
Wow,
too.
and he had a DNP reliever.
Wait, we need to have this person on the pod.
Yeah, Mickey
Mickey.
B 1 2 3 4 FC, the soccer guy. Look
So
at all these
ano-
FCs.
So another sober strategy, and I'm curious how you guys think about it. It's called the rainbow strategy, where you
Red
buy.
Sox, complete Red Sox stack. Entire Red Sox stack.
Although it's a Red Sox that probably plays on a different team. At least one of them does. Can you find which one? I think it's Tyler O'Neill. Or no.
No,
It's not Tyler
not.
It's
O'Neill.
not Tyler O'Neill. That's his new card.
Chris Sale does not
Nope.
pitch for the Red
It
Sox
must
anymore.
be Connor Wong or Winkowski.
Connor Wong.
Nope, he's on the Red
He
Sox.
plays for the Red Sox.
What the?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Go. What's the next? Yeah. What's this
But
guy's lineup?
what's interesting though, so buying all
Okay,
the
here we
same
go.
players.
CJ
Little
Abrams
Orioles
is
stack?
on there a lot.
Oh, the rainbow.
Abrams.
Okay, tell us. So the rainbow is buying the same players in
Every
limited,
scarcity.
rare. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So it takes
That makes
it
sense.
simplifies it out so you set the same lineup and then you don't have to think about having different players at each level. You're just you go all in. And if it hits, like that guy with his Yankee stack, he's gonna hit at both the limited and the rare level. Maybe super
So
rare
like
if he
this
entered.
weekend, it worked.
It did. It did.
See,
Obviously
okay,
it's not gonna
this
work all the time.
this goes back to the all in, all or nothing strategy. It's the same concept.
But there's a difference between it within a lineup and then within your gallery. You know, I
Right.
think within a lineup, I think it makes the most sense. Within a gallery, I'm not sold either way, but it definitely makes it easier.
The answer to your question was Chris Sale. He pitches for the Braves.
Oh,
Oh,
it's Chris
duh.
Sale.
Yeah, duh.
I said
Of
that. I
course.
said that. I
How
said
did
that.
we forget about? Oh, we suck. We're bad. We should just cancel our podcast right this second. That's
First
terrible.
place had 3 limited
Corbin
cards.
Burns, Brewers card.
3 limited cards. To be fair, they were Jordan Soto and Kyle Tucker. Probably 3
Yeah.
tier 1s there, but
So
Yeah.
from what we're seeing, this is over limited, this is over rare. You probably need 2 or 3 tier 1s. If you're going to hit a top 10 finish, you're going to need a few tier 1s in your lineup. Or you're going to have to hit everything because he's got Ohtani, we have Mookie, we have Judge, we have Soto. We saw Gunnar Henderson, we saw an Adley. These are all tier 1s. Judge again,
go.
Volpe, I think was a tier 1. I don't remember, but this is a 2 tier 1s here. I want to say Gaussman, is he a tier 1? I think he might
He's
have been a
been pitching
2.
really well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he's
definitely
probably
Judge
he
and
probably
Volpe.
floats between.
But obviously
Hector-
that was this game week. I do think though, Jacob, if you rock a lesser team, obviously Yankees are going to lend themselves to have lots of tier 1 players, but there are game weeks where, you know, the Blue Jays go absolutely off. And I mean, granted, generally you'll find a tier 1 probably on every team, but you know, they're probably, if you do want to compete, I don't know, maybe I'm starting to become more open to full team stacks.
Yeah. Sorare News MLB FC. I love it. Ellie,
Tatis, Gunner.
Gunner. Again,
Class
That's
A.
a huge
Class
team.
A is a tier 1, yeah. Is he?
That's a big team.
He might be a tier 2, but
Either way, he's a top closer in the game.
Wow.
that's a
Wow.
lot. That's a lot of tier
Wow.
1s. Ellie, Bobby
Wow.
Witt, Acuna. That might be all tier 1s besides Diaz, maybe?
Yeah.
I think Diaz is a tier 1 probably.
Has he
Maybe
worked his way
it's-
back up there?
Yeah, he'll probably work his way back up there though.
I mean, he's one of the top relief pitchers.
What?
Wait, third place had a DNP starter.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
Andrew, was that? Did you sell him your Tyler Glass now? So okay,
I might have, yeah,
this
maybe.
is proof that Emma, like, you could never win
Well, that's
anything.
such a cool card.
You
Holy
could
cow.
never win anything in NBA or football or soccer if you had a DNP. You would not come close to winning anything. You could maybe hit a threshold in soccer, but you are not winning anything. And this person got third place in Sorare MLB. I think that's super cool. You have to
That's
hit,
crazy.
right? It's all tier ones again, including his pitcher that didn't play. It's all tier ones. But that
Wow.
being said, that's interesting. That's the only sport you can do it in.
I mean, it's a little bit of math, just like
293.
one out of 7 versus 1 out of 5. That's a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
Like soccer, you might be able to pull it off if if we played with 11.
Double pitcher stack.
Okay, we haven't talked about that in a while.
Okay.
Look at that.
Interesting. Yeah, I think we could get into that maybe next time, like a double pitcher stack versus relievers versus closers. We could always revisit that because that's always a hot topic. I always switch off. I've been always switching off between which one or the other. So yeah, I think this is a good look to see
Yeah.
what you're gonna need. I would say minimum 3 tier ones that you're gonna want in your lineup if you want to hit a podium spot. What do you think? Is that too much? Is that requesting too
Yes.
much of the common man to buy 3 tier ones to try and win a top place? Like, where you see these teams and there's not as much, like, you don't see like in other fantasy sports, you'll see, like, when our dad plays, he'll be picking up players left and right. And you can kind of do that. And you might just sneak in someone who you didn't know before the season started. But now in this, you'd have to buy them. So maybe there isn't as much, like, strategy to finding the cheaper buys right now because tier ones are dominating. I don't know. But right now, I'm thinking you need maybe 2. What do you think?
But what about that? What about that weekend that you did particularly well with the Brewers stack? Like, I don't think many Brewers are represented on the tier 1 list. I think it's just the nature that, yeah, like if you want to compete week in, week
Yeah,
out,
that's true.
absolutely. The more tier 1s you have, the better
Okay, that's
you'll
a
do.
better point. If you want to put up that score or have a good chance of putting up that score on a week-to-week basis, you're going to want those cards. But
So
that's not to discourage you if you don't have those cards. Okay, I might have been doing a little bit too much of that now that I think about it. So
Sperm whale talk.
yeah, exactly.
here's a prime example. I finished in 10th. I was 15 points away from podium, and I had a 0 from Renfro in
Oof.
4 games.
Oof.
Tier 1, I'll give you that, but I won him. Probably tier 2, tier 1.
Yep.
Well, okay.
Yeah, you have a pretty
Definitely-
stacked team, Josh.
That's okay, I guess.
You're a little sperm whale too, buddy.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Yeah, we're looking
you're
at this lineup. This is
Well,
this
okay,
is pretty
but
spermy.
this is not a cheap lineup, I'll give you that. But it's also not Acuna, Soto, Judge, Betts, Otani, that's where that S tier comes in, right? It's a lower tier 1, tier 2 team,
Sure.
which to me is different and slightly more budget compared to some of these other teams that are placing higher up.
Yeah.
Just drive a Lexus, not a Rolls
There you go.
Royce.
That's a
There you
good
go.
one. That's a
4th
good one.
place.
Yeah, Profar, Bogarts, those aren't going to cost as much as like a Mookie Betts or an Aaron Judge.
I would say there's not really a tier 1 on this list.
I mean, William Contreras is
Contreras
putting
might
up
be
some
the only
tier
one.
1.
Bohm has been pretty solid this year. Nasty Nestor is probably up there, but not quite a tier 1. I don't know. It's tough to say.
Yeah,
Pitchers,
tier 3.
But
Yeah.
there you have it. You kind of have to.
Yeah, let us know what
understand.
teams you're rocking with. I want to see. We can send us your lineups.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it.
I think something just happened in the Brewers game.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
seeing lots of
arguing. I don't
talking.
know. Should we get to some ride or fade action? Should we bring back everyone's favorite segment?
Let's do it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to fade
All
it.
right.
Oh,
Whoa.
whoa,
Oil.
You're
oh,
gonna have to
oh,
go. All right.
oh.
You ruined it.
Wait, that is exactly like the new boxes. Sorare's got to fix that. We saw what it was before we wanted to. It's ruining the surprise. Josh, do you work for Sorare? Come on,
I do.
stop
I
showing us
do.
things that we want it to be a surprise.
Sorry. All right. We are starting off this week's Rider Fade, everybody's favorite segment, making its return with Are you riding or fading as this time right now being the best time of year for sports? To break it down for you, we've got Champions League football, baseball's in full swing, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, the Kentucky Derby, golf tournaments. The players used to be around this time, but it's moved. Um, I'm probably missing some along the way, but the NFL draft just happened. So a lot of really, really exciting times in all sports, no matter which ones you watch. Are you riding as this time being the best time of year for sports?
I would say I don't know.
No, fall.
Yeah.
The fall is better. You got
Yeah.
football, then you still got Champions League football. You got playoff baseball. Yeah, I'd rather take that. To be honest, NHL playoffs could care less. NBA playoffs besides the Bucks, not really. I mean, yeah, I'll watch, but other baseball is really the only thing that like is, and I guess the Champions League finals. Those are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But is it the best
Yeah.
time? No, it's not.
Hear me out. I think there are peaks and valleys throughout the
Ooh,
season. We have a valley, maybe you could say in the middle of the summer, a little bit before the All-Star game in baseball, where there's no
Copa
sports going on
America.
besides baseball. See, that's what I'm saying. Is like you can't have the best time of year for sports when there's so many. You got the
The
Champions League that's coming
Olympics.
up.
The Olympics.
I'm not as much into the Olympics. I'm
The
just like hot
Euros?
take, not gonna lie. Euro is coming up this summer. That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
They do call this what it's like called the championship season or something like that, but
Mm.
anyway, moving on. Speaking of the AL Central, York Cleveland Guardians are currently have the best record in baseball and are winning the AL Central. They've been extremely fun to watch. Shout out Stephen Vogt. Love him.
How
Glad
about
he's
that?
doing well. Are you riding or fading the Cleveland Guardians? Is this a fluke? Are they off to a hot start and they're gonna cool off? Or are they in it for the long haul?
You know, the Celtics looking kind of weak. I think they're in it for the long haul. They've always been kind of a 500 team,
Yep.
is how I viewed them for a while now. But their pitching is there. Of course, we're still going to miss out on players that have injuries, such as UCL injuries. Like, who was it? Was it Bibby that got one, or was it um, Bieber? It was one of the B's. It was Bieber, I believe,
Bieber,
had the
yes.
UCL injury. Yeah.
Yep.
So other than that, I mean, they're still hot. They're still playing hot, and I got to root for my guy J Ram too.
Me
So
too.
I have him on my team. I'm riding the Guardians, man. Go Guardians.
500
Oh, yeah.
ball is good enough to win the Central, and they have the best fighter in baseball. So I'll leave it at that.
Hey, shout out J Ram. All right, go Guardians. Do you like this picture that says Indians? Who's up
No,
to bat?
whoops.
Oh, it is J
Whoops.
Ram up to bat. I didn't do that on purpose.
No,
Is
oh,
it
it is?
really? Oh yeah, it
It
is.
says Jose
Wow.
Ramirez. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Next. Are you riding or fading roundabouts? So on my way to work currently, I take a county highway and I go through, I think, 6 roundabouts on my way to work in a 25-minute drive. Um, I like not having to come to a complete stop unless I'm yielding for another car. It feels quicker, but also feels extremely dangerous because I don't think half the population knows exactly how roundabouts work. And I don't know. It just feels, according to people, it's safer, but I'm not convinced.
I'm riding them. I think
I'm
the
riding
data's
them.
there.
I'm riding them.
Okay. Okay.
I got no problem with them.
Fair enough.
Brewers
Fair enough.
suck.
Yep.
Brewers.
They sure do.
Zero runs.
There was controversy, but
The 0 runs. That's all you can say.
Yep. We're
That's
the
all
new
you
White
can say
Sox.
about that game.
we're the new White Sox.
Oh no. Cubs are now sole first place, by the way.
Ooh, go Cubs.
So
Everything's
I
right
I
in the
don't
world
think
again.
that's going to change anytime soon.
The Yankees and
unfortunately.
Cubs are back.
Nope.
Everything is right in the
Ugh.
world.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah, you say the fall, but the fall watching the Yankees and Cubs in the World Series is not going to be fun. Anyways, moving
That's true.
swiftly onwards.
You mean the
I kind
Guardians
of gave it
versus
away
the Cubs?
already.
Wait. Okay. Actually, no, we'll wait till after this. Okay, go for it.
The Chiza. Now,
Tell me what
you'll
this
notice
is.
I put in the copyright logo.
Yeah, we don't want to get
So
sued.
this is KFC's kind of new menu item. I want to say it's been around for about a month now. It is a chicken pizza, otherwise known as the Chiza. I purposefully picked a very unappetizing picture because I am fading this so hard as a fast food item. I like chicken. I like pizza. There's zero reason to combine the two.
Why not put the chicken on the pizza instead of putting the pizza on the chicken?
Because it's the Chiza, man. It's
So,
KFC.
Josh,
Okay, so I have not eaten at KFC in 20 years, maybe 15, 20 years. This to me looks like trash.
It's a bad picture. I'll give you that.
okay, let me ask you both this. Do you like chicken parm?
No, not really.
Yes.
Okay, Josh, you
Not
like
the
chicken
greatest.
parm. How do you not like this as a concept?
That's a good point.
How is this
not chicken parm?
I like chicken parm, but coming from a fast food restaurant, I want pizza or chicken. I would never. Would you go to a fast food restaurant and get chicken parm? That's
I think
basically
Burger
what this
King
question is.
I think Burger King came out with a chicken parm sandwich. I would not eat it.
There you go.
I'm actually looking at this and I would eat that. Absolutely. This actually looks good.
All right.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah. Jacob,
No.
I get if you don't like chicken parm, I totally get if you that's why you don't like this. But if you're a chicken parm fan, I don't get how you can't give this a try because it looks like it's got some sort of marinara, some sort of cheese, and it's obviously got chicken. That's chicken parm right there.
Yeah.
There
Well,
you go. There you have it.
I have a live Rider Fade Food Edition. Before we finish off, oh no.
Oh, did you want that back up?
What happened? Oh no, we're
I
good.
just stopped sharing.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
So a few weeks ago, in fact, it was for Valentine's Day or no, Easter. So maybe like a month ago, we had a Rider Fade and you had Peeps on it. And this entire time, my girlfriend has had Peeps sitting in her pantry from her grandma, but they're not just Peeps. They're s'mores dipped Peeps. So we are going to give a live Rider Fade on s'mores Peeps. I don't remember what I said because Peeps to me are low-key not that great.
I think we faded them. We all
Did
faded.
we
It was
fade
a communal.
Peeps?
It was a universal fade.
So these could either bring them back or just honestly add to our opinion. But it comes with a package of 3. Here, hold on.
And Peeps to fairness, does it say that you should cook it like a s'more?
That's true.
Is a s'more called that because
Let's
of the
see.
flavoring or because of how you should eat it?
I don't think it says to do anything. But okay, so there's chocolate on the bottom.
Ooh, okay.
And then there's like the
Interesting.
peep. It's like a
And
duck.
what flavor is the body of the peep?
It says dipped in milk chocolate graham cracker flavored marshmallow.
Oh, that actually sounds good.
This
All
sounds
right.
like a
Low-key, I kinda
a
wanna eat that.
ride.
All
I
right.
kind of want to eat that.
All right. So are we before taste test? Are we riding or fading?
Ride.
I'm riding.
All right.
A graham cracker flavored
go.
thing is a ride. Interesting. Oh.
Oh, it's got a
Oh.
center. It's got a center.
Oh, that's gotta be good. It's gotta be good.
You know, can't lie, I would still never go out of my way to buy them, but that's an absolute ride. That is way
Whoa.
better than a normal peep.
Wow.
Like, completely outdoes it. I don't. I mean, I kind of do get the s'more. I do. I really do. I get the chocolate, obviously, but there's a little bit more than that. It's like that little graham cracker taste
Whoa.
left in my
Wow.
mouth. So
That sounds delicious.
there we go. Our first ever live ride or fade.
Love
Besides,
it.
if we want to count the black licorice, but
True,
it
true.
was good.
That
There's
black
two more.
licorice is so good. Oh wait,
Wow.
Jacob. Okay, wait. We gotta. So Josh and I were talking. We're also very big fans of this newer candy. That's a derivation of something that was around for longer in our childhoods. Talking about something that comes in clusters, something that's got some chewy elements to it, something that's got a crunch to it. Looks a little bit like sprinkles, but it's covered a red chewy center. Talking about
Is it the
Nerds
nerds
gummy
thing? Yeah, those are
clusters.
top tier.
Those
Those
are
are
an
really
S
good.
tier
S tier.
food. S tier.
S tier. And
That's
you
your
might,
food, not just candy.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
for dinner.
I think they're part of my food pyramid. They're at the
Yes.
top. They're at the top of the food pyramid.
Shout
about
out
that?
to everybody saying you need more color in your diet. Those are super colorful.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Yep.
Nerds gummy clusters. Well, there you have it. Some peeps, some baseball, some basketball, some so rare as always. Another great episode. But that's all we got for you. We'll see you next week. As always, don't forget to enter the giveaway. We'll be
One
drawing
day
that
left.
later this week.
Are you gonna eat a second? Is it good enough to eat a second?
Yeah.
You got it. You got to eat a second.
Like,
But
it's
There we
good.
go.
Noise canceling.
Until next week, you just attended batting practice. Now you're ready to get in the game. Peace.